Welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Mark Savar. I'm the Global Marketing Communications Manager here at Welcony for our folios of neurotechnology solutions. We're excited you're here to learn more about the Technomed folio, particularly the probes and all the different things going on within this. This is a big folio within our brand, including a folio with 30 years of experience and Technomed's leading intraoperative nerve monitoring brand folios. And we're going to actually share some highlights of the new launches that are coming up. And right now, I want to turn it over to Joost to give a brief overview of some of the new exciting developments. How are you today, Joost?
Very well, thanks. Thanks a lot for introduction, Mark. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that Technomed is a producer of the Neurosign branded portfolio, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Neurosign disposable stimulating probes helps surgeons confidently preserve nerve integrity with precise, reliable stimulation during complex procedures. As a part of our latest introduction, we're expanding the line with the new extended double and triple hooked probes designed to enhance maneuverability and simplify nerve mapping in challenging anatomies. To give a better understanding of the portfolio as a whole, including the newly extended double and triple hook probes, I would like to give the word to our product manager for IONM and CMP, Tomas Diaz.
Thank you, Joost. Thank you, Mark. So first of all, the goal is to aim to help the surgeons to distinguish difficult structures in the surgical field during the procedure in order to preserve the function and avoid any damage or further damage as a direct result of a surgical intervention later on in the patient. So with that, the stimulating probe is doing nothing else but delivering an electrical pulse to some of the structures that the neurosurgeon define or trying to map in complex surgical fields. We have two main groups of stimulating probes, the monopolars and the bipolars probes. Regarding the monopolar probes, we have multiple variants. One of them is the shaft or taper tips, which is important to know that every monopolar probe requires a return needle in order to close the circuit. So the current flow is anode to cathode, and the return needle will close that circuit. Of course, in this case, the monopolars, as you can see in the diagram, once the electrical pulse is delivered, the area is more spread, it's a wide area. So it's not suitable for or optimal for when you need to stimulate a specific narrow, small areas or small structures. Often is being used in thyroid, parathyroid procedures. And as I mentioned before, you need to use a return needle. Specifically, some of the specs of our flush tips are that only 2 millimeters are exposed. The rest of the shaft is isolated to avoid any stimulation of nearby areas. So you can see here one of the images how those taper monopolar probe looks like, and this is a diagram how the current flows. We have the concentric probes as well. Concentric probes are a type of bipolar probe. In this particular case, if you need to be very precise on the stimulation area, you should use a concentric probe, because you have 2 poles. You don't need a return needle to close the circuit, because the circuit, you have anode internally and cathode externally, as far as you connect the blue wire into the positive pole in the output port of the IONM machine. And in that way, you can stimulate very tiny areas. Of course, you can use those in thyroid and parathyroid surgeries as well, but are particularly useful on mapping all the different facial nerve branches, which we all know have 5 branches. And in order to distinguish those during parotid gland surgeries or removals, the surgeon needs to know specifically which particular branch they're stimulating and recording the area on the corresponding muscles. Here you can see in the diagram how the current or the electrical pulse flows from the internal pole to the external pole of the concentric probe. The stimulating clip is a very distinctive from our company, from Technomed. The goal of the clip is to transform the dilators, which are being used on minimally invasive spinal surgery, to transform those dilators into a monopolar probe. Of course, you need a return, as every monopolar probe. But the good thing is that you can expand this clip from the 5 millimeter to 22 millimeters inner diameter on those dilators, and that's a great feature, because you just using the same clip, you can just clip the dilator and transform that in a monopolar probe to avoid and see the responses on the IONM machine to determine if there is any spinal nerve nearby that could be compromised if the procedure continues in that way. So the most common range of inner diameters in the industry are between 5 millimeters and 22 millimeters. That's the rationale behind this design. Of course, you can see all these ergonomic designs and anti-slip with these strips here, you can see, in order to make it more easy to handle, as you can see in the picture. Other types of bipolar probes are these bipolar, which have 100 millimeter of shaft with 2 millimeters as well of exposed tip. The rest is isolated, but in this case, you cannot distinguish between anode and cathode. And the importance of that is in some surgeries, you need to know which is the direction of the stimulation. So having or knowing the anode and the cathode is important in some surgeries. That's why we have these other bipolar, which is named the precision bipolar. And as far as the blue wire is connected to the positive, or being the anode in the output port of the IONM machine, you will get the black shaft as anode and the white as cathode. So the current flow is traveling from anode to cathode. That is important on some surgeries, because if you invert or reverse the direction of the stimulation, you might be getting a signal which corresponds to a reflex and not as a potential as a direct result of the stimulation of the nerve. That's a very important one. And in this particular case, the precision bipolar, we have it in 70 millimeter shaft length with 1 millimeter of exposed tip. Here you can see in the diagram how it's going from the black to the wide shaft. That's the direction of the stimulation. We have the hook probes, which are particular types of bipolar probes. And in this particular case, you have the black as anode and the white as cathode, as far as the blue wire is connected to the positive pole output port and the IONM machine. In this particular case, this one is a very short shaft, is a 38 millimeter length, and are 90 degrees the angle here. So in this case, the double hook and the triple hook, which is this ones that you can see in the image, are in many cases used together in plexus surgeries. So the way this is used is to get the double hook as a stimulator and the triple hook as a recording probe. So in this case, the triple hook will be connected to an input port in the IONM machine and not into the stimulator. If you want to use the triple hook as a stimulator, you need to be mindful that the black shaft is the anode as far as you connect the blue wire into the anode port or the positive port into the output port in the machine, in the IONM machine. We have in this particular iteration of 90 degrees triple and double hook in 38 millimeter, but we are about to, we are launching right now, we are releasing even more an extended shaft. So it's an extended shaft, it's a longer probe, double and triple hook. And now not only in 90 degrees, but we have it in 100 and 180 degrees. The goal is, of course, you know, obesity is being a serious issue, particularly in countries like USA, and longer shafts are being needed by surgeons in order to reach deep nervous trunks or nerve in multiple plexus surgeries in polytraumatized patients, etc. So the angles as well are in order to, the rationale behind that design is in order to have more versatility in the way you might handle the complex surgical field on those cases with high BMI patients. On top of that, we are keeping in this iteration the ergonomic handle with anti-slippery designs as well, in order to provide more comfort on those very long procedures. We are releasing right now 6 different iterations, a double and triple hook on 90, 100, and 180 degrees. I mentioned before, using the concentric, it could be a good one, or bipolar precision in this case. And the hook probes for plexus surgeries, the ones that we just mentioned, we are releasing right now with an extended shaft, just in surgeries and cervical plexus, brachial plexus, lumbar, sacral plexus are the most common applications. So we are experts in neurodiagnostic consumables and hold all the industry certifications. We have a very expert and senior quality management team and regulatory compliance. And we have design and engineering support all the way.
Thank you, Tomas, for the overview. Thank you, Joost, for the big picture of what's going on within Technomed. Lots happening, and we've had a few questions that came in both in advance and during this webinar. The first one, let's just talk practicality. If I'm a clinical, the person said I'm a clinical provider, what's the best step for me to get access to this new technology? And I'll refer to either one of you for that answer.
Yeah, first of all, important is to reach out. So you can do it through our web page or through the social media in order to connect you with our sales rep. So we have a team of experienced sales representatives, which they're gonna evaluate the opportunity with you, and we will work together in order to collect all the specs or the needs, the specific needs you have in order to provide you or to provide those customers with the right options depending on the type of procedures they are having the specific need. But
Fantastic.
that would say that's the main route to
let me add to that. Our web address is www.technomedmedical.com. So on that you have a contact button on the far right top. So if you put in your credentials there, we're able to reach out in a very short time frame to you.
Great. Another question, particularly when it comes to the new stimulating hook probes that we're just launching now. I mean, the team has been working on these for a while, correct, Joost?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's an extension of the probes that we already have in our Neurosign portfolio, yeah, based on the market demand and customer demand, there's definitely there was an option for us to design these and bring them to market.
Fantastic. Tomas, question for you, as the product leader that you are. These products have gone through extensive testing, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. All the products we develop pass through a validation and verification process where the engineering team and the quality team analyze all the technical aspects on the from the stimulating point of view, from safely point of view as well, which is a very important component of our products to make it as safe as possible and required by the regulatory entities. And yeah, of course, everything is tested in the validation and verification process and by the quality team afterwards. Besides that, we conduct many post-market surveillance, always monitoring the quality performance and the performance of all our products that we launch to the market.
Fantastic.
It's a continuous process. It's not only during the product development, but after market as well.
Great. A couple more. Let's talk about compatibility. Now, the new stimulating hook probes, as well as the entire folio, they can integrate with a number of compatible devices, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And fortunately, in neurodiagnostic, in neuromonitoring, in this industry, the standard is the DIN connector. Most of big companies or big hardware companies are develop their hardware based on that particular connector device, for sure.
Fantastic. One more, just as we were kind of wrapping up the webinar here, Joost, when you look at the global impact of Technomed and then the Neurosign lines within it, we're working globally with hospitals and clinics all over the world in a lot of different channels, are we not?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we definitely partner with the big neurophysiology centers. We partner with let's say the equipment manufacturers that also require specific accessories and things like the probes or like concentric needles or other kind of products which have the link between the actual device and the patient. So we have a global reach, global bandwidth, and therewith we are very much organized in a global way.
Fantastic. And Tomas, as the medical professional that you are, what excites you about these new probes? I mean, they have been in development for a while. Now it's go time, right? So as the medical pro, what do you think when you see this come to life?
Yeah, well, actually, there was a need from several customers because of this problematic that particularly the USA is facing regarding the obesity. And that's the rationale behind the longer shaft initially. And of course, we were excited because we are helping to over 20 million customers so far in 2025, and these type of configurations will help even more patients in the market, and we are pretty happy with that fact. Another important topic that I would like to, and it's kind of related with the previous question that you made to Joost, is that we are very focused on selling products through our distributors, not directly to end users. But if any end user is interested in our products, of course, we're gonna find a way to connect those end users to those surgeons, to many of our distributor companies. So no worry about that. You will be served with the proper, in a proper way through the right channel.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for everyone who joined us today. Thank you for everybody who joined us today. We are excited. You can learn more at technomedmedical.com. And please stay tuned for more updates within the folio. And we want to thank you for your commitment to patient care, quality research, and improving lives worldwide. So thank you.